You know, when you look out over a sprawling city, just this massive sea of barren concrete, do you ever wonder if it could be something more? Well, welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to explore a pretty incredible transformation. We are looking at how city dwellers all across India are taking their limited, sun-baked rooftops and tiny balconies and turning them into absolutely thriving natural food oases. This isn't just about planting a few cute decorative flowers. It's a full-on movement towards agricultural independence happening right in the middle of our metropolitan centers.
Here is our roadmap for the Explainer today. We'll start with the urban farming revolution, then cover the transition from chemical to natural methods. After that, we'll dive into setting up your own 400-square-foot terrace, tackling vertical growth, preparing a biopesticide called Brahmastra, and finally, how to overcome common urban challenges.
All right, Section 1, the urban farming revolution, adapting ancient wisdom to the city. Right now, our cities are dealing with a massive structural challenge when it comes to food insecurity.
Let's look at a pretty stark contrast here. Driven by shifting climates and rising costs, traditional rural agriculture is really struggling. On the left side, you've got traditional chemical farming. It relies heavily on expensive synthetic fertilizers and toxic pesticides. It damages the soil ecology and leaves our cities totally dependent on these incredibly long, carbon-heavy supply chains. But look at the right side. Urban natural farming is such an empowering alternative. It uses absolutely zero synthetic chemicals. It thrives on recycling local organic waste, and it actually creates these localized cooling effects in really dense neighborhoods, all while delivering fresh, chemical-free food straight to your plate.
Moving on to Section 2, Chemical to Natural Transition, breaking the synthetic cycle. Making this leap means we have to break our reliance on synthetics entirely.
So what is natural farming, or Prakritik Krishi? It's basically an ecological methodology built on 4 strict operational negatives. Ready? No tilling, no chemical fertilizers, no synthetic pesticides, and no weeding. Rather than constantly fighting the environment, this philosophy is all about mimicking a living forest floor. It's about cultivating a rich, self-sustaining ecosystem that continually recycles organic matter, even if that so-called forest floor is sitting on a concrete rooftop.
I absolutely love this quote. Healthy soil isn't made in a factory, it's made in a drum. It's a great reminder that true, lasting fertility doesn't come from just buying bags of commercial compost at a store, it comes from cultivating that rich, vibrant microbial life yourself. To put that into perspective, just a single handful of healthy soil contains more living organisms than there are human beings on planet Earth. Seriously, all you really need is local waste and a little bit of patience.
Which brings us to Section 3, your 400-square-foot terrace, maximizing limited urban space.
Just take a look at this number, 400. You really don't need acres and acres of land to be an urban farmer. A mere 400 square feet, which is roughly the size of a standard 2-car garage, is completely enough to start producing maximum vegetable yields that can actually feed a household if you manage it efficiently.
So how do you actually set up a space like that? Well, step 1 is sun mapping. You've got to track your solar radiation. Fruit and crops, like your tomatoes, need a solid 6 to 8 hours of direct sun, whereas your leafy greens can get by with just 4 to 6 hours. Step 2 is wind protection. High rooftops have these harsh drafts that will totally dry out your plants, so block them with netting or some hardy perimeter plants. Step 3 is crucial, load management. Saturated soil is super heavy. You'll want to swap out those heavy terracotta pots for lightweight HDPE grow bags and use porous cocoa peat soil. You definitely need to protect your building's weight limits. And finally, step 4 is waterproofing. Always elevate your containers on stands. That maintains an air gap and prevents any structural dampness from ruining your roof.
Now, if you're wondering, does this actually work? The answer is an overwhelming yes. By applying these exact space-saving methods, an urban gardener in Kanpur is successfully harvesting fresh lemons and over 250 varieties of fruits and vegetables. And they're doing the whole shebang using nothing but balcony-sized pots. It really grounds all these technical steps into a tangible and, frankly, delicious reality.
Section 4, vertical growth and pollination. Time to reach for the sky.
Because horizontal space is so strictly limited in the city, the smartest urban farmers figure out that the only way to go is up. You can easily install galvanized iron wires and trainer ropes across your roof to act as trellises for creepers like beans and gourds. You can use raised platforms to keep the terrace clean and boost airflow around the roots. You can even take old PVC pipes or 5-liter cans, cut them open and hang them on walls as vertical planters for leafy greens.
Oh, and definitely plant companion flowers like marigolds and calendula. They attract whatever natural pollinators might be wandering through the city air. You're basically turning a flat, concrete slab into a lush, three-dimensional canopy.
But wait, what if you're way up in a high-rise where bees are practically non-existent? Well, that's where hand pollination comes in. It's a really fascinating, tactile trick for city growers. Step 1, identify your flowers. The female flower is the one with a tiny fruit formation right behind the petals. The male doesn't have that. Step 2, in the early morning hours, just take a small paintbrush or a cotton swab and gently dust the pollen from the male flower straight onto the female flower. And just like that, you are officially the chief urban bee.
To see how this builds into real self-sufficiency, look at this example. A working couple in Bangalore used overhead trellises and daily morning hand pollination to turn their roof into a primary food hub. Even with their busy jobs, they are harvesting fresh gourds and beans 3 times a week. That right there is the power of mastering vertical growth and pollination.
Moving on to Section 5, preparing Brahmastra. This is nature's very own biopesticide.
Look, when you grow food, pests are just inevitable. But in natural farming, synthetic chemicals are never the answer. Instead, botanical ingredients can be naturally tailored to target specific bugs. For sucking pests like aphids, farmers prepare neemastra using neem leaves. For chewing pests, agniastra uses super pungent stuff like green chilies and garlic. But for those really severe caterpillar and larvae infestations, the ultimate natural weapon is Brahmastra, which is made from highly bitter, completely unpalatable wild leaves.
Let's walk through exactly how to make it. First, you mix 20 liters of native cow urine with 2 kilograms of neem paste, plus 2 kilograms each of 4 different highly bitter leaves, think castor, datura, or bale. Next, you slowly bring this entire mixture to a boil on a low flame so the ingredients really infuse, and then let it cool down. Now for the most important part. Let it ferment in the shade for a full 48 hours and make sure you stir it clockwise twice a day. Finally, filter that rich liquid through a warm cloth and dilute it in water. Boom! You now have an ancient, incredibly powerful 100% chemical-free spray to shield your crops.
Section 6, overcoming urban challenges, finding real solutions for the city.
Look, I know this explainer makes it all sound pretty idyllic, but there are definitely some real logistical hurdles when farming in a dense concrete metropolis. But the good news? For every obstacle, there's a practical, innovative solution ready to go. Worried about heavy soil collapsing your roof? Just switch to lightweight cocoa peat and HDPE bags. Dealing with a severe lack of natural pollinators? We just talked about how morning hand pollination completely solves that. Finding it difficult to source native cow dung in a totally paved city? The long-term systemic solution there is pushing for municipal decentralized biological resource nodes near dairy hubs, which makes these vital natural inputs accessible to everyone.
So, why go through all this effort to overcome these hurdles? Well, the systemic payoffs are just massive. A rooftop garden literally acts as a thermal barrier. Studies actually show it can reduce your indoor temperatures by 2 to 3 degrees Celsius during peak summer. It directly recycles municipal biodegradable waste right on site through composting, keeping it out of our overloaded landfills. It provides critical habitat corridors for those dwindling urban pollinators. And above all, it secures fresh, chemical-free nutritional independence, helping build truly resilient and healthy communities.
Which brings us to a final question to wrap up today's explainer. Could your very own concrete roof be the seed that transforms your city into the next thriving natural food oasis? Think about it. The tools, the structured methods, and the natural science, they're all right there waiting for you. It really just takes one lightweight grow bag and a few heirloom seeds to start the revolution. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, and I genuinely hope to see you growing your own urban oasis really soon.